Hi, everybody. My name is Aaron Wevenkang, and I love sharing wisdom that feels very powerful to me. And the topic of the day that I would love to speak about, and it's more of a question, really. Are we aligning ourselves with God or are we trying to fight God? Are we aligning ourselves with this universal GPS who has all the answers, who has all these miracles, all the abundance? Are we aligning ourselves with that energy, the higher source, the source of all blessings, the sustaining, or are we manipulating and chasing this physical world, manipulating people into liking us, chasing people's approval, chasing money, chasing love, chasing a job instead of attracting? Like, these are two different mindsets, two different adornments you put on. It's like different armor, different clothes. And one could really enhance you, one mindset could really help you attract everything that you desire. And one mindset can really make you suffer because you feel stuck, because you feel like you're not being helped, because you feel like things are against you and nobody's helping you and you feel alone. How come one person only sees chaos and one person only sees miracles? It's all in the question. It's all in the questions that we ask ourselves. It's all in the way we think. One person has is in a scenario where they feel like they don't have money. And in that position they say, "God, why haven't you given me money yet? Why is this happening to me? Why is why are you doing this to me? You're a terrible person." And we are trying to convince God to give us right now in this moment, while God is trying to give. But he simply cannot come into our life if we don't align ourselves, if we don't allow him to, or give him the space to come into our life. We simply cannot manipulate God into getting what we want. It's about transformation. It's about changing our perspective, changing the way we think. And from that place, we reach fulfillment, connect to our soul, and then we attract blessings. That's the difference in mindset. Why one person sees chaos and the other person lives in a state of gratitude, feels joyous all the time, and only sees miracles, only sees quotes, from the, and it feels like divine quotes on the street, or a car driving by who has a quote on the car, or car plates, or just these messages from the universe. We can all tap into that. We are very divine beings. That's definitely true. But how can we tap into that? It's in the questions that we ask ourselves. So one person has a money issue and he asks, "Why is this happening to me? Why are you doing this to me, God? Why are you doing this and that? And why does this person stand in the way of my money, or that, or why?" All these things. You can be stuck on the details, or ask, "God, why haven't I received money yet? I know that you're intrinsically good. You want me to have everything. You want to give everything to your beautiful creation. How come I am not in a state of co-creating with you? I feel like I'm fighting against you." There's a difference. You can be co-creating or you can be fighting against God. You can be fighting against the process or aligning with the process. And just ask the question. That's the difference between somebody who's very miraculous and somebody who's very much in suffering state. They ask the wrong question. So somebody who is in a miraculous state asks, hey, okay, God, I see I have this money issue. How come you haven't given it to me yet? How come? What can I change about myself? What can I change about my thinking? Because we often start blaming God, but we have never blamed our thinking or our perspective. We always blame something outside of us, that person. Oh, that person is the reason why I'm going through this. Oh, it's all the fault of that person, of this little thing. If this thing weren't there, then I will be happy. You know how, from our soul's point of view, you know how stupid that sounds? I'm sorry for my language, but there is no other way to put it. It sounds so stupid. We're such divine beings, and we're saying, and we're giving fault to, it's the fault of the business deal not going through. We can manifest literally everything, and we're just focusing on such small details. It's the fault of that person. But instead of blaming other things, we can just simply ask God. God is our source. How come I don't have it? How come? Is there something I can change about myself? And just keep asking, because the universe listens. This endless atoms that are listening to you, listening to the energy that you speak out. So the moment you ask something, the whole energy shifts, your whole destiny shifts, and everything based on what you ask the universe will be brought to you. That's how powerful we are. So if you ask a question, answer comes. Just have to start looking out. Really, really paying attention to the details, paying attention to what signs there might be, you know? And it could be I have money issue because I feel very needy of somebody's approval. And I'm gonna start making money. And if I have a lot of money, then that person will like me. Then I'll be good enough. If I make money, I'm worthy. That belief system, that is very limiting to our soul because we are already worthy. So God asked us, throw that belief system out. I'll give you your fulfillment. That's how it works. And of course, this is very simple. It sounds simple, but in reality, it can be very challenging. It can be very challenging. But it's up to us. Do we want to connect? Each time, you just have to ask the questions. If you want to connect to a higher source, change something about yourself. Because your thinking that got you into this problem is not gonna get you out of this problem. I'm sorry for that news. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I have to bring that news. The thinking that got you into this problem is not gonna get you out. You know, sometimes in certain relationships, why hasn't my soul attracted my soulmate relationship yet? How come I don't have my soulmate yet? Same thing. Maybe I don't have enough self-love or self-care, or I have abandonment issues. So even if my soulmate was given to me, I would never trust it. I would never fully feel safe. And I will break my soulmates, break that other person. God would never want to do that to that person. So why would God give you a beautiful, healthy soul if you are not healthy? It's just gonna collapse, you know? Things are gonna collapse if they are not being given in a right state of energy and mind, in a right space. Same way that you don't give a phone to a baby. The baby doesn't know how to use it, understand it. It first has to go through some type of learning, a few years of appreciation. You start learning language, then you can use the phone. Then the baby can use the phone, but first, you cannot give uh, a baby a phone if he doesn't even know how to handle that energy. You know? And the second thing is sometimes we are very ungrateful, and that is human nature. We tend to only focus on the glass being half empty and not being half full. We tend to only focus on what is bad and what is happening and not on the good. I myself catch myself so many times being focused on one little. I'm a Capricorn, so I tend to very be self-destructing if it comes to making mistakes. If I, yeah, just it, I tend to be very self-destructing. And how can I appreciate, even if God would give me then in that state of mind, me being self-destructive and only focusing on the bad, even if I have done 1,000 things right that day and somebody gives me they're critical. Only thing that I can do is just focus on that, and I'll just get into a state of pain, sadness, all these things. How can God give you then all of these blessings if you don't appreciate what you already have? So that's also a big shift of mindset that we could make. How can God give you more of it if you cannot even truly handle less of it? If you already now feel difficulties with loving yourself, how do you expect God to give you somebody else to love? If you already now face difficulties with, you know, with money, you think more is gonna help you? No, it's gonna destroy you. God's rejection is really his protection. And it doesn't mean that it is not gonna come in the future, or it isn't that we're not good enough for these things. But it's just that we just don't have the right vessel for it yet. And that's, how do we get the vessel? How do we get this container that is able to hold these blessings instead of overflowing or breaking? You know, if you give an 18-year-old millions, he doesn't know how to handle that energy. He doesn't know, and he'll probably self-destruct, starts using it to fill his own fears, start manipulating others maybe. We first have to change our characteristics, our way of thinking. So that is why the questions are so important. Questioning okay, it's not because of God. It's not because of God why I don't have this yet, this miracle. I'm searching for a miracle. I'm sure searching for an answer. Maybe in career, maybe in maybe I want to go and live somewhere else, or I want to live with somebody else. I want to move in into somebody's house and found a new partner. And all of these things, all of these questions, we have infinite questions. The only way we can ever receive answers to all of those is if we connect to something greater. Because otherwise, you'll feel overwhelmed. You feel like you're constantly in a state of stress, constantly in a state of worry, constantly in a state of I have to carry all of these burdens, everybody else's expectations, everybody else's opinion. And that can be very heavy. And a lot of it's good, a lot of people burn out. How do we make sure we don't burn out? How do we make sure we don't beat ourselves up? We don't start falling into sadness. It can only happen when we start facing the truth, and that we are intrinsically good, perfect, regardless if we are going left in life, if we make the decision to go left, or we make the decision to go right. Either way, we'll end up exactly where we are supposed to be. God, in His infinite goodness, would love to share His wisdom, would love to share His light, His blessings with us. And He constantly is trying to find ways in order to get to us. Sometimes we go to difficulties, we feel setbacks in life, so we can actually remember that we are settling for less. Sometimes, that toxic relationship, there are a lot of stories out there of somebody having a toxic relationship and then finding the strength within them to let that go. And they find a miraculous, healthy, beautiful relationship, and they start appreciating the healthy relationship. Maybe beforehand, they wouldn't have appreciated their healthy relationship as much. So sometimes also God is setting us up to failure in order to set us up for success. So you're not bad if you're making mistakes. You're not wrong for making mistakes. You're not a terrible person, or it's not like you should feel different, It's okay to feel these things, but what do we do with it? What do I do with the situation that has been given to me? That's a beautiful question. That's a question who somebody asks who lives in a miraculous state, who wants to align himself with something greater. And sometimes it's just only asking that, it's trying to see patterns. Why am I limiting myself in such a way where I feel like I should settle for this toxic relationship? Maybe I am not very clear about my boundaries. Maybe I say yes to everything. Maybe, you know, so there is endless fulfillment out there for us, but it requires transformation, requires us believing differently. It really requires us changing our state, because it's not a problem with God, it's more of a problem with how we handle things and how we look at life. What is our intention behind things? If I make these videos to have people's approval, then I won't ever truly, God won't give me a real audience. Why? Because if I start having a real audience, and 20,000 people might be watching, I start maybe taking energy from them because I feel like something is lacking within me. And that is not what God wants. God wants to first off make you establish a beautiful foundation, and from that place, share wisdom, in my case. So it is not a punishment why you are going through certain things. It is not. It is not a punishment, but rather really an awakening. It's an awakening. It's an awakening to remember the bigger picture, to remember our soul. And our soul came into this world and said, I want to change. I want to grow. I want to be the most miraculous, and I want to reveal the most light of my soul into this world. I want to help people. I want to create. I want to be here to have my dreams fulfilled, but I want to share my dreams with the world. I want to share and create. And it came with such enthusiasm. I don't know if you say it like that. Enthusiasm. Like, no, excitement. Yeah, it's excitement. Yeah, in Dutch, you say enthousiasme. But it came with such excitement in this world, with such fire to grow, to emulate God, to have the qualities of God too, to be our own creator, a co-creator. But then we came into this world, we start being limited, we start surviving, coping mechanisms, and so many expectations of people in school. You get indoctrinated, all these things, all these people, and all of a sudden, a lot of distractions come from for the very thing that you wanted to do in the first place. You wanted, so many people, they had a dream and they let other people tell them what they should or shouldn't do. No, no, no. You should play safe. Our soul did not come here to play it safe. Our soul did not come here to play it safe. It wanted to reveal light. Playing it safe is a limited belief, and it's limiting our soul. Let's play it safe. Let's work this job, and you know what? Give a contract so then I can be able to pay the rent and have this house, and then I'll be able to pay the water and electricity, and then I'll be able. You know how that sounds? That sounds a little. If you speak it out, if you think about it, it feels small. Something that feels great is this confidence. And this confidence and these divine qualities exist in every one of us. It's just, how do you bring it up? How do you let it come up to the surface? How do you reveal what's behind the curtains? The curtains are the masks that we have been taught to wear in order to survive. I need to say this to this person so that person then will like me and then I will feel good. All these things, all these limiting beliefs only comes because we forgot our essence. But that's not a wrong thing, It's also helping us appreciate the moment that we connect to our soul. Such a big difference in living in a lower frequency and in a higher frequency. We start appreciating the higher frequency, so it all has a purpose. It has already been designed. So it's not bad that you're going through this. It's a process. It's a process. But somebody who lives in a miraculous state, what do? They ask questions. Okay. They understand, okay, God wants to give me. How come? How come I don't have this blessing? And even if you don't feel the connection and with God, and you say, God, why don't I feel the connection? You start asking questions. Start asking questions. People give up before even they say, oh, nobody's listening to me. I'm talking to a rock. I'm talking to a wall. No. Every atom in the universe is listening to you. The king of the human kingdom, the king of the animals, the king of all the universe, the solar system, I don't know what's even beyond that, is listening, but it's not a person, it's more of an energy. Energy that has created everything, that exists in everything. That's how you could describe it. But it's listening. And the moment you ask questions, your energy shifts. The moment you ask for blessings, the universe will design your life in such a way, will bring you in such an algorithm that these miracles come to you. But you have to first do the work on why doesn't it come to me? Why doesn't my soulmate relationship or my career, because often, or money, often it's in these three things that people are searching for, but it could be all the little things. Why do I feel needy of this person's approval? And transforming that neediness from that person's approval will unlock new miracles from coming in. Why? Because you start opening up, letting one belief system go. Oh, that opens up a new channel for new light, for new blessings. Okay, it's like a game. It starts being a game. It starts being fun. And that's the difference between somebody who's suffering and in a gratitude, divine prophecy state. And of course, that person who is in that joyous state constantly also goes through pain, but he sees pain differently, more of a way to awaken his heart again and not to be, even more of a victim or even more of a negative person. He starts using it and seeing it for the good. Okay, it means that there is even more fulfillment, and God wants to give me even more fulfillment. So let's work with God instead of against Him. Let's work and let's play this game. Okay, He wants me to play this game. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. You want me to play this game? Let's do it then. I came here. I'm here already. So why not do it? I came here already. I'll be suffering either way. If I have suffering chasing people, chasing things that I'll never feel fulfillment in, maybe I'll feel the fulfillment for a second. Maybe I'll feel the fulfillment of truly changing somebody. We often tell people, you should change. Or you should do this. You should do that. And maybe they'll change. But after a while, after 2 months, they won't do it. They stop doing it. And then we are back to the same root problem that we have to change ourselves first. You can be busy with fighting the world and you'll feel overwhelmed. Or you can be busy with being in a game. And being in a game, I start loving the game, really. I started loving the game.